Shalom. And I want to start off by giving all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wachach, Chodesh. Double honors to my teachers, the apostles, and elders, a great millstone. And salutations to you, Akim, that's out there listening. Pushing forth this word with truth and sincerity, and a few Akwat as well, that's listening with sincerity. I am the brother Machaya from the camp GMS Montreal, coming back with another lesson. And spiritual power is coming for the men of the Lord. Okay, because we're approaching the times where all hell is going to be breaking loose, and also Esau is going to come down having great wrath and persecuting the elect. So that would mean that the Lord is going to have to intervene and protect us. And one of the ways that the Lord is going to do that is by giving us the ability to perform miracles, spiritual power, okay? Not only to defend ourselves, but also to exalt the names of the Lord, okay? For the power of the Lord may be known, okay? So let's start with Isaiah 59 and verse 19, and it reads, "So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, shall lift up a standard against them." Okay, so when the enemy is going to flood, the enemy representing that flood representing his troops, his armies, okay, when it's martial law in effect, all right, what the Spirit of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, is going to have to lift up a standard for us to be protected, man. Okay, because scriptures say how that the Lord will protect us in the time of trouble. Okay, he says that, no harm's going to befall his men. All right, so let's get the word standard in the Hebrew. It says here, nawas, okay. It says to flee, escape, to flee, to escape, to take flight, depart, disappear, right? You see? So that standard, it could be you flying, you know what I'm saying? You disappearing, basically escaping. And the Lord could make that happen in multiple different ways. One of those ways could be by flying, by disappearing, or running fast. However that, the Lord deems, he's going to deliver you out of that situation, that's how it will happen. Okay, it says to put to flight, drive hastily, to cause to disappear, hide. Disappear, man. You know what I'm saying? He might make you invisible right in front of their eyes when the troops come down and try to take you. You see? Or he might just teleport you to another place. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Yeah, you see, that's that spiritual intervention, man. And it did happen to our forefathers. King David, he got delivered out of the midst of battle. Okay, he got beamed up. Right? Even Philip teleported in a sense. When he baptized the eunuch, right after, he disappeared. Let's get that. Let's get Philip. Let's get the one about Philip. Okay, because Philip disappeared too. He wasn't necessarily in trouble, but, just the mere fact, of honing on the point of, the standard saying disappear or hide, because, Philip did indeed teleport. Okay? I'm just going to go to the point. This is Acts 8. When you read up, is when he went into the eunuch of the Ethiopian eunuch and expounded on what he was reading. He was reading the book of Isaiah. Okay, he broke it down to him, and afterwards he baptized them. All right, so I'm going to go to the point where he basically disappeared. Okay, so this is Acts 8 and verse 38. And he commanded the chariot to stand still, the Ethiopian eunuch, and they went down both into the water, both Philip and the eunuch, and he baptized them. See, after he broke it down, he received the word, he got baptized by Philip. Right, so this is the point here, verse 39. And when they were come up out of verse 39, it says, I had some technical difficulties, so you might, see a little cut in the lesson. But verse 39, it says, and when they were come up out of the water, the Spirit of the Lord caught away Philip, and that the eunuch saw him no more, and he went on his way rejoicing. You see, so right when Philip baptized him, when the eunuch was coming out of the water, Philip disappeared. The Spirit of the Lord caught him, man. Basically, he teleported, because we keep going. Verse 40 says, but Philip was found at Azotus, and passing through, he preached in all the cities till he came to Caesarea. So the Spirit took him and brought him somewhere else. Let's read that in verse 39 in the NLT. It says, when they came up out of the water, the Spirit of the Lord snatched Philip away. The eunuch never saw him again, but went on his way rejoicing. See? Teleported, man. The Spirit just caught him. Boom. He went to another location. You know what I'm saying? So that might happen. That will happen to us too in these last days. Brothers will be teleporting, out of teleported to safety. Yapa, man. I want to get the one about King David as well. Okay. Since I brought them up, might as well get them. How does it go again? I think it's in 18. I want to say it's in Psalms 18. Let us see, because that's when King David refers to how that a bow was what's it called, broken by his hand and whatnot. Bear with me. Is it in Psalms 18? Damn. You know what? I can't find it right now where the chariot took him up out of the midst of battle. But regardless, let's get this. Okay, where he said he leaped over wall. Okay, let's get this. This is Psalms 18 and verse 33. It says, he maketh my feet like hinds' feet, and setteth me upon high places. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So King David is going into how that the Lord was dealing with him, making him being able to do supernatural things. You know what I'm saying? Making him run fast, right? Climbing mountains. That's like, yo, what? How did he do that? It's like, that's why he said, he maketh his feet like hinds' feet, and setteth me upon high places. And you look at certain mountain goats, the way that they climbed the mountains, it's like, wow. It'd be like how do you say it? Now, I want to say tight, but like there's no really leverage that you can actually stand. Like if you're looking at, I've seen certain videos. If you watch the videos of, mountain goats, you know what I'm saying, climbing the mountains, is like, the way they climb is like, you would think that they would not make it because there's not much leverage for them to stand. But it's how their feet is made, like they're able to do that. So King David is basically saying, You know, the Lord made him being able to do those things. You know? Different, bro. He said, he teaches my hands to war so that of both steel is broken by mine arm. Right? You know, which that happened. He had super strength, man. A bow of steel to be broken by his hand. Like, come on, bro. That's super strength right there, man. You know, I want to go up to and read this one as well. It says, verse 29. It says, for by thee I have run through a troop, and by my power I have leaped over a wall. Come on, bro. Leap over a wall? It ain't no fences that Jay be jumping over in the hood, okay? That was them ancient walls, man. Tall like the wall of the Great Wall of China. You know what I'm saying? That's what the King David was leaping through. He was jumping like Hulk. If you ever seen Hulk jump, he jumps. He's jumping over skyscrapers, man. Kind of like that to give you to paint the picture. You know? Yeah, man. And these things are going to reoccur because we're gonna, like we read, we're gonna need that standard to be lifted for us to be protected. Okay, the Lord's not gonna give us spiritual power for us to do our own thing. You know what I'm saying? And you know, do magic tricks or whatever, you know, to get your own glory. No, it's going to be for defense and for the name of the Lord to be glorified. Okay? You know, it's going to be also to, you know, let's get this, Salakia. Let's get this. Let's get this in Acts. In Acts, where the disciples performed miracles. It said what happened? It says believers were added. That's another reason why the Lord is going to give us that spiritual power too. Okay? To bring in those that need a little bit more of a kick, you may say a bit more of a push, you know, for them to believe. Because you have certain believers in this that, you know, they're required to see. You know, to see miracles in order for them to believe. You know? Isn't it Acts 5? Bear with me. Yeah, it's Acts 5 and verse 12. It says, and by the hand of the apostles were many signs and wonders wrought among the people. And they were all with one accord in Solomon's porch. Okay, those signs were miracles. Okay, that our apostles were performing. You know, the 12. Okay, that word sign here in the Greek says semaion. It says a sign, mark, token, that by which a person or thing is distinguished from others and known. Sign, prodigy, potent, unusual occurrence. Transcending the common course of nature. You see, that's miracles, because that's what it is. It's going to be an unusual occurrence, man, that, you know, you wouldn't normally seen from your day-to-day, man. It transcends the common course of nature. All right? It says, of signs portending remarkable events soon to happen, of miracles and wonders by which the Most High authenticates the men sent by him, or by which men prove that the cause they are pleading is Yahweh's. You see? It's, those signs are going to authenticate the men of the Lord. That's when people are going to know, like, yo, yeah, these are the men that the Lord is dealing with. You know, already, you know, by the words that we're saying coming to pass, that's going to be another indicator, but also the spiritual powers as well is going to authenticate us. Okay, to prove that, hey, we're actually pleading the cause of the Most High. That's why Scripture is saying, when this coming to pass, then shall they know what a prophet hath been in the midst of them, man. You see, all these things are going to happen just to glorify the name of the Lord, man. Okay, it's not going to be for our own vain glory, no. Okay, like I said, it's going to be for defense and exalting the name of the Lord, and also for to bring in believers, other elect members to be grafted in as well. Okay, because once again, not every elect member has the same level of faith. Others required to see, just like Thomas. You know, Thomas, he asked the Lord, he asked to touch the Lord to see if it was actually true. That was the Lord that was resurrected. Doesn't mean that Thomas was not, you know, one of the 12. No, it's just that, you know, that he didn't have the same level of faith as the other apostles, disciples. Verse 13, it says, and the rest durst no man join himself to them, but the people magnified them. And believers were the more added to the Lord, multitude both of men and women. You see, multitudes were added because of those signs, those wonders that were wrought by the apostles, man. Okay, that authenticated them, saying, yo, yeah, these are the guys, bro. We got to follow them. We got to tap into their teachings. And then boom, men and women, they believe, they were added. You see that? You know, the Lord's not going to give you spiritual power. You just do whatever you want. It doesn't work like that, man. You know, there's a purpose behind it. Once again, defense and glorifying his name. Because when you do those things, people are going to be like, how'd you do that? You know, that's the question that they're going to ask. How'd you do that, bro? How? You're going to say, hey, it was all to the Lord Yahweh Shai, man. What? Who's that? And then you expound on it to them, you know, and then they start, oh, shit, oh, damn, what? Really? You know, then that faith that they had inside them starts being to be kindled. And then they start believing, you know. But if you're doing these things for you, I did it because, I'm like that, you know. Remember what happened to Moses, right? When Moses said, Messiah fetch you water out this rock, what happened? He didn't get to see the promised land, man. The Lord said, you're not going to get to see it because you said that. He shouldn't have said that. He should have said that, the Lord, because it was the Lord that was working through Moses to perform those miracles. But that one slip up, I was just saying him saying to the people, must I fetch you water out of this rock? It made him not even get to touch the promised land, man. He only got to see it from the horizon, you know? So that puts things in perspective. Like, shit, yo, spiritual power is nothing to just, take as light, because that could bring pride upon you too, to where that, you do certain things and then now, hey, you fall out, or I don't know, the Lord just kicks you. He does a pose of Moses on you. And I'm just thinking, because these things are written, like it says in Romans 15:4, for our learning and understanding. Okay, these things that we're in aforetime, we read these things for us to, to get on point and learn from our forefathers' mistakes. You know what I mean? But anyways, I'm going to close it off there, man, by giving all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Chodesh. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Until next time, I'm going to say